Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Processing Podcast with Mary and Sophie. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts as well as watch and listen on Spotify and YouTube. I love the feature on Spotify. I don't know if you've seen it, Sophie, where you can also watch us. So it makes it super convenient. And it's so great because our visual format for this show is a better way to kind of engage with us. So anywho, we're recording on Sunday morning, the untraditional slot for us to get on our Zoom call and record this show because our summer schedules have not lined up at all. I know we already talked about it last week with us going MIA for 2 weeks because it was Sophie's birthday. Then I worked on the days that I don't typically work, and my schedule's all over the place. So I think we're going to change, at least for the meantime, the day that our show drops. And I anticipate that being bi-weekly still, but on Tuesdays. So expect that change. And that'll give our listeners a little bit more time during the work week to also listen to us. So I got my morning coffee next to me, my cold brew.
I have to say, not that I love this summer schedule. I think it's super fun. It is a little early for me to be up on a weekend, and I didn't make any coffee, and I'm starting to regret it. So who knows? I might text Darren in the middle of our episode to come bring me coffee.
Yeah, because for me, 10 o'clock is 8 o'clock for you.
But it's a good time.
Change.
Honestly, I should be up. It was just because we had a crazy week, and so I'm a little more tired than usual. But we're actually going to start going to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at like 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So
what led to that decision for you too?
Just because, like, first of all, we're ramping up for the wedding. We want to start working out. We want to look our best, whatever. Everybody's probably rolling their eyes, but
no, I would too.
Okay. Some people are like, oh my God, you have so much time, but I don't want to have to
a year
crunch.
Is not a lot of time to get in like your ideal shape.
Yeah.
You guys already both look like camera ready, wedding ready, but for those details, especially like if you don't have a ton of weight you're trying to get off, but you want to tone and work on specific areas, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm 25 now, so I'm basically an old woman. It takes like 10 times longer. So, but anyway, I'm having like a lot of jokes with this like quarter life crisis thing. But anyways,
it's true though. The metabolism for me has already slowed down significantly.
It's slowing.
It's terrifying to say.
It's like you hit 25 and like you run through a wall, and then anyways, but whatever.
I'm not even there yet. So I'm glad you're mentally preparing me for what I should expect in November.
Yeah, just prepare for your body to fall apart. No, just kidding. But I don't know, we have been going to the gym pretty consistently for like years now. Like we would go to work, go to the gym. We would do that maybe like 4 times a week. And it was good, but after work, like you don't really want to go to the gym. Like you're done, you're tired, you're mentally exhausted. It's hard to like summon the energy to go to the gym. So we're just like, on the days I work from home, let's wake up early, go to the gym, have breakfast, and then start the day so that by 5 o'clock, your day is done. And we did it. We managed to do it one day. Last week, we were supposed to do it 3 days. But to be fair, Monday was a holiday. It was the 4th of July, so I wasn't going to do it that day. And then Wednesday, I was just tired. But it went really well. It was like I had so much energy after I was able to actually get up. I went to the gym, felt super strong, came home, made coffee, did laundry, had breakfast, and then started work. And it was an amazing thing. And by 5 o'clock, I was completely done with my day. I loved it. So highly recommend if you're willing to wake up that early, especially if you work from home. I recommend it.
And it's nice that you and Darren can do it together. I have the complete opposite problem in my life because I work 2 to 11 technically, although I'll typically have to come into work a lot earlier and sometimes stay later. And I appreciate so much waking up early, getting to smell the brisk air in the morning and feel alive to start the day. But then I pay for it later in the day because when I'm driving home and it's midnight, I'm falling
Exhausted.
asleep on my drive home. So I have to
Yeah.
make sure I get adequate rest. But at the same time, it is so nice when you can utilize a full day and then get to relax on another part of the day. So that's a cool new challenge that you guys have, and
Yeah.
it'll all pay off come pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And speaking of pictures, actually, today I did just want to mention, I know we have a lot to cover today, but Darren and I are taking our second round of engagement photos. And I say second rounds like that because everyone's like, you already have beautiful engagement photos in Hawaii.
Like literally right after you got engaged. So
yeah, literally. And they're
these
perfect.
are
I
the
love
post
them.
engagement photos and
Yeah, but
pre-wedding.
it's been, how long will it have been? It'll be like 10 months since then. It's been a
Hmm.
long time. I don't know. I want a fresh set. I want something new for the wedding because we've already sent them all out for the engagement announcements and for the engagement party. So we're getting a fresh new set. And my friend Gabby from work, who also I was in Alpha Phi with at Chapman, she's taking them today. She does an amazing job. I'm so excited. And I'm wearing this ridiculous green dress that's ginormous and long and poofy. And I'm really excited to see how it comes out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we've talked about your dresses, Sophie, and I will be incredibly vague when I say this, but I think this is a valuable point for people to understand. And who am I to be talking, because I don't have any
You're a maid
experience
of
in
honor.
this
You
realm,
have
but I'm
credit.
learning from you. And you're so creative, and you're always doing things that fit your style, I guess. And I've seen that energy transpire into your dresses so far. And I know we've hinted at, maybe potential um, um, adjustments to your wedding dress that could make it fit your personality more. And even with your engagement dress, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells because I'm so scared to say anything I'm not supposed to. But my point is that I know we talked about last week before we hopped on the Zoom call of, you asked yourself, is it really the dress that's meant for me if I'm making all of these changes?
Mhm.
And I was like, honestly, so many people can go into a store and buy that same dress that you have potentially. So for you to make it your own only, emphasizes the idea that you have a one of a kind in your own way. So you mentioned your engagement dress, and the last time I was in California with you, or maybe the second to last time I saw the dress, and it was so much dress, but it was gorgeous. But you mentioned you made some adjustments that fit your style better to it, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
see that. And I think that's the point of it. You get a dress, and then it's like, okay, this was made for the masses. How can I make it for Sophie, soon to be Boo?
Yeah. And that's the thing is and Mary's not mentioned, I think she's being nice, but I was having serious doubts about my wedding dress. Like I was like, I got it. And to be fair, I put on a couple pounds since the last time I tried it, birthday happened and it was a little tight, first of all, but I knew it was going to come in tight because they said it's better to order it a little bit tight and then have them let it out just a little, rather than get like something way too big and they have to cinch it in and make all these adjustments. So I got it. It was tight. And I was like, ooh, that's not as cute as I remember it being in the back because my fat is like coming out of all these little strappy areas. And then like I didn't have my petticoat under it yet. And so it was super flat and I don't like the neckline. And so these are like all changes I'm going to be making. But because that was the first thing I saw when I had put it on after 7 months, I was like, I don't remember this looking like this. So I had a little bit of freak out moment, but it's all good. I found actually for anyone getting married, I highly recommend doing lots of like inspiration research because I found a dress that looks almost like it's really, really close to what my dress already looks like, just with all the alterations that I want. And I love it. So it's like, okay, I know we can get here. We just have to get there. And I just have to remain optimistic, particularly because bridal shops don't really offer exchanges or refunds or anything like that. So you're kind of
Okay, so
locked
I
in.
didn't know that policy from the last time we talked. So was that the conclusion when you inquired about, hey, what if
Yeah.
I stop liking my dress?
Yeah. Yeah. And every shop is different, but from what I've read online, and just to have you know, like this is a very common issue. There is literally so many articles about what happens if I hate my dress or I'm having second thoughts. Because you pick it out like a year in advance and your taste changes and trends change. But um, most dress shops are non-refundable, non-exchangeable. Um, you pick your dress, you say yes to the dress, and it's like getting married. Like you've said yes to it. You can't divorce it. You can't separate from it unless you sell it online and buy a different one, which I was
Hmm.
considering because I was freaking out
So
so bad.
they don't want to be involved in that process of you changing your mind.
No, they're like, you said yes, and we did our part, and that's it.
All right.
But
Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to be very entertaining to see how the journey of you and your relationship with your dress changes. And I didn't
yeah,
expect this last one, so now I'm prepared for whatever may come of how you feel about this dress.
just be prepared to like talk me off the ledge at some point. But no, and I just want to mention that because I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing. Nobody goes through this. Everybody sees their dress and they love it and they're sure about it. But I just want to reassure everybody, like that's totally, I found online that it's like a totally normal thing because your body changes, your taste changes. You see inspirational photos on Instagram. You're like, wait, what if I like that dress better? And
Mhm.
it's normal, I think, to go through these phases. But anyway, that's my long rant about my dress and my taste changing and my
So the
indecisive.
pictures are happening today at the time of recording, and then in like however many weeks, you can count on one hand at this point, I will be in California with Evan. Our tickets are booked, and we will arrive the night before your engagement party. We're hoping, of course, to record an episode the night upon my arrival, but no promises because in the world of your wedding and the process of your wedding, that will always take priority. So if anything happens, we have other priorities at hand. And then the following day will be the big day. And we talked about it to an extent last week of the minimal drama that happened. But regardless, I think it's going to be gorgeous. And I know you've already started doing some preparations to get ready. I'm not going to fly in as early as I wanted to help you decorate, but hopefully when we go a little bit beforehand, or maybe we'll even go the night before if possible, I can help in any way. But flying in at like 8 o'clock doesn't help anyone.
Well, we do have time. We have a lot of time to set up, so maybe we'll play it by ear.
Okay.
But
I'm hoping to help because I don't want to be a maid of honor that just flies in like, all right, let me enjoy, and you and your
no,
mom clean up.
no, that's the thing. This engagement party, I mean, it's actually good because it's kind of like a dress rehearsal for the wedding in the sense that a lot of the same type of planning goes into it. And it's funny, actually, on the day of, we'll need to probably do less decorating for the wedding. Like, I'm hoping my coordinator and florist and everything has that figured out. I'm hoping that the bride doesn't decorate the place on the day of.
Sophie, you need to talk up. You're bubbling a little bit.
Oh, sorry. But maybe it's because my mind is literally going a million miles an hour with every. I'm telling you.
You started whispering at the end of that sentence.
Oh, sorry. I don't want the bride to be decorating on the day of. Maybe I didn't want to be. But I think that's normal. The bride shouldn't be decorating the day of. Anyways.
No, they'll have it covered. I'll make sure of it.
But it's been crazy. There's a lot going on. Just because we have to order food, order drinks, order decorations, order flowers, order like invitations, like keep track of all the invitations. And I will say I have already, because we're moving to a new room that's not as cute, we need to like really bump up the decor. Within 24 hours yesterday, I spent $990 on decorations
Oh my
alone.
gosh.
Alone. And that was only like, I mean, to be fair, it's probably 80% of the decorations, and
But
a
not
lot
even
of
all
it,
of it.
no, it's not
But
even
the
all of it.
majority.
The majority, and a lot of it can be reused for the wedding because a lot of it is like the trendy pampas grass and all that stuff. So it can be reused for the wedding, and it will be. So that'll save money
Oh,
and even the
good.
bridal shower. But my poor bank account.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean,
like,
seriously. So, what's, oh my gosh, I said, can you hear me? I said seriously and Siri popped up. She might pop up again. Okay, she didn't. Anyway, so what's included when you say decor? What are some of you mentioned one, what are some of the staple pieces that you're particularly excited about? Because when I think of decor, I think of table covers, you know, a photo booth. Like I'm having trouble picturing what you're specifically talking about.
so luckily, Old Ranch, the place that we're getting married, we are having our engagement party at. It's this party literally feels like a wedding sometimes. They provide all the tables, all the chairs, all the table linens. They're doing the food, so the food setup, the bar setup, they're doing all that. But the room is very corporate looking. It's just like, it's kind of old. It's like hasn't been renovated in a while, and it's just kind of brown, and like it just needs to be amped up. So they're also going to be draping the walls to make them white, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then on our end, we're kind of in charge of everything else. So we're like creating these like flower chandeliers for the ceiling, and we're creating centerpieces to kind of break up the room. And then we have signs for people when they walk in and they have to go up the stairs so they know where to go. And there's just
So
like a
the
bunch of
theme, the
little,
colors that you want, you're having to implement in different ways.
yeah. And then we are doing a photo booth, and I was going to draw on our ASB skills from LoSal and make the balloon arch myself, but I was like, I'm not doing it. I just decided what am I going to wake up the day of and do it? Because if I do it the day before, the air might leak out and blah, blah, blah. So we have to still order those too, which I'm hoping won't be that expensive, but
The
it's,
drama on TikTok surrounding balloons and balloon arches is all about how expensive they are and how they shouldn't be that expensive. So I wish you luck in that. And if you find one that's on Amazon, we can definitely hammer it out the night before, if you're willing to risk that, because they do have, I think the most trendy looking ones aren't the arches. They're the ones that start at the top corner and then drape down at the bottom. Those ones are
yeah,
super cute.
yep. And that's the one I'm going for. I
So
did
it's like
find,
half arch.
yes, it's like a little half like squiggle thing.
Yeah.
And I did find someone that is reasonably priced, but she hasn't responded back to me. So we'll see
And
how it goes.
it's nice for people like that because they have the shade ranges of balloons that you never thought existed, like
Yeah.
the pastels, all those beautiful colors. Well,
Yeah.
I'm super, super excited. I'm going to be counting down the days. You're picking me up from the airport, and it's just going to be all good vibes. We'll get it all going. And that's really all I have to look forward to at the moment. So I'm counting down the seconds.
Oh, a little pity party.
Do you think it's time that we get into a reoccurring segment that we really haven't done in what feels like a month? And it probably has been a month because we didn't
I
do
would
our
say.
hot topics last week. And then, 2 weeks before that, we didn't have an episode.
Yeah,
So
I think it's been about a month.
Sophie and I, which has been pretty on brand, have two completely different topics. Both you could say in the realm of social media. And I have a random number generator. You can be odds, I'll be evens, and that'll dictate who goes first. Okay. So for our visual listeners, I'm putting up the generator on the screen. Okay, I'm pressing it now. And it's odd. So
That's
Sophie
me.
goes first.
Wow. I've never been lucky in the past. That's so crazy.
Sophie starts first all the time anyway, so I was trying to mix it up. That didn't work.
Surprise. The universe doesn't want any change. I'm actually glad I'm going first because I feel like your topic is more serious. I feel like it's better to end on your topic than on mine, or at least follow yours with mine, because mine is just kind of like, in my mind, funny and just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Noah Schnapp and Doja Cat controversy that's happening all over social media.
The first thing, I was going to my Twitter so I can reference it since I have no idea what's going on. First thing that pops up on trending. So
yeah, and I don't really, I mean, maybe it's trending so much because of Stranger Things, and I'll do my best to not, for anybody who hasn't seen the latest season, I won't, drop any spoilers or anything like that.
well, real quick, I just started it because the world raves about Stranger Things, and I have never watched it. I'm on episode 4 of the first season.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. And it's horror. Like, it's scary. And I wasn't expecting that. And I'm so confused why this is so popular. Okay, I've attempted to watch Stranger Things twice before, and I've made it through exactly 3/4 of the first episode before losing interest. And I know that so many people probably are cringing at what I'm saying, but so now I'm gonna watch it because Evan watches it, and it's just more fun when you can enjoy a show together, or at least talk about it. But episode 3 I just wrapped up, going on episode 4, just like super horrifying.
Yeah, it's really it. And you know what is, I look back to the first season and I remember thinking that, but the latest season is worse. It's it gets scary, and it makes sense because they grow up, it's kind of like Harry Potter, how we all grew up with Harry Potter, and it gets progressively more horrifying. It's kind of the same thing here.
And my number one, like, I don't in terms of scary movies, the one genre that's too scary for me is paranormal. And I feel like this teeters that line of what, not paranormal necessarily, but I'm forgetting of the word, but so it's freaking me out. But I'm since it sounds like you love the show too, I'm gonna stick with it.
Well, and they do a really great job of kind of offsetting the horror with the kids and their story, and like love stories and things like that. So I would say the scary parts are scary, but they're, especially in the first season, they're very sparse. I wouldn't say there's too much of it. The latest season is, at least for me, the latest season was like, oh my God, this is disturbing.
So and when I think of shows that the masses love, like Euphoria, I'm like, okay, there's just a unique concept that has never been seen before. That's why everyone's raving over it. I didn't expect everyone to be raving over like this type of horror. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents on Stranger Things so far, 3 episodes in.
Well, I'm so excited for you, though. I'm so excited. I wish I was just restarting watching it. Like,
I've heard that a million times since I've said I've started it. Like, to experience that first season again. So many people wish they can have my virgin eyes right now.
Especially because the writers, the Duffer Brothers, went to Chapman and they spoke at my commencement. Yeah. So
that's cool.
I have a little special place in my heart for Stranger Things. So most recently, the drama that has been coming up about Stranger Things and its cast members is between Noah Schnapp, the newest cast member in season 4, Joseph Quinn, and a non-cast member, Doja Cat. For anybody who's, maybe a really big Doja Cat fan, I don't know who you would be, but she's been tweeting a lot this past few weeks as season 4 has come out about how hot she thinks Joseph Quinn is, this new cast member in Stranger Things. And she's been pretty open about it. So it didn't come as a surprise when we found out that she had reached out to Noah Schnapp, the character that plays, or the star that plays Will Brides on Stranger Things, the kid that originally goes missing in the first season. And she reached out to him and essentially asked, hey, yep, here he is. For our visual listeners, there he is in the flesh, Noah Schnapp. She DM'd him, or maybe text messaged him, and was like, hey, essentially, can you hook me up with Joseph Quinn? And it seems like they're friends. If you look in that screenshot, there are previous messages, and it looks like that they've kind of, developed some sort of friendship over the years. And Noah Schnapp was just kind of like laughing about it, and then provided her with Joseph's Instagram.
And this is Joseph?
Yes, that's Joseph Quinn. Here he is. He's the newest character in Stranger Things that Doja Cat apparently has the hots for. So that whole conversation happened. And then, to be funny, Noah screenshotted the conversation and posted it on TikTok, which, to be fair, like, is hilarious. And, we also have to keep in mind not to, I don't know, throw shade at him, but he's 17. So when I was 17, that's totally something I would do, especially if it was Doja Cat. I'd be like, LOL, like, you guys, how funny is this? And Doja Cat was not happy about it, to say the least.
Oh, that's shocking. I would have thought they talked about it beforehand. Wow, what a plot twist.
So he posted it without her permission. And she was not happy. And you know what? I totally get that. She's a celebrity, especially a celebrity. Like, your private conversations with people should remain private, because so little of your life can be private. And so you would think stars would kind of respect that privacy with one another, but whatever, it was funny. I get why Noah posted it. So Doja Cat went live on TikTok and just kind of let off on this rant on Noah, talking about, she kind of starts with how I started, like, hey, he's 17, you do stupid stuff when you're 17. I get it, I did stupid stuff. But then she was like calling him a snake and degrading and expletive and super embarrassing and sneaky and a weasel and all this stuff. And obviously, especially on TikTok, it's a younger demographic. They all love Noah so much. They love Noah Schnapp. Everybody on TikTok, everybody on social media loves him because he's just like this cutie patootie, and he's also hilarious in on his social media. So essentially, social media's response has been to call Doja like just ridiculous, in the way that she's been reacting to it is ridiculous. But furthermore, what people are freaking out about is, Doja, you're like 26 years old. Why are you reaching out to a 17-year-old kid to get hooked up with his cast member, when, first of all, you could have just looked up his Instagram yourself? Like, you're 26 years old, you know how to work Instagram. It's not like you're like from a different generation that's never used Instagram before. I don't like, why did you have to go through Noah to send you his Instagram handle? I just don't understand that. And second of all, people just think her reaction was just over dramatic. Like, it's like, okay,
whatever. I need to see this reaction, because, not to spoil the fun, but Doja Cat's personality is so, like, she has such a dry sense of humor, and not in her delivery, but in the way that she messes with people, and she gets humor out of it, but it's like, is she kidding? Is she not? And I remember an example, she did a commercial for, or she did a TikTok promoting the Mexican pizza for Taco Bell. And that's essentially what brought it back. I don't know, whatever marketing campaign that was. And she was really, her presentation was, Taco Bell asked me to make this stupid, TikTok about the Mexican pizza, so here it is. And then she just rapped a thing about Mexican pizza, like a little verse. And I thought, Wow, how odd for your marketing. Like you have a job here and that's how you go about doing it. So this just totally seems, I need to see it for myself because I don't like, it's hard for me to believe, and by no means do I not believe it completely, but it's just hard to believe Doja Cat would actually be mad about this.
Well, I think I think she's mad because it's the privacy thing. I think she was super upset about her privacy being invaded.
Interesting.
Because you know what?
That it's fair. I get it, but just her personality doesn't seem like and
I
maybe
would
it's she
agree.
has strong boundaries, you know what I mean? But
I
you
think
don't
so. And I
tell
think,
someone to keep it under wraps, you don't really have that
yeah,
responsibility.
and that's what a lot of people said. They said, okay, well, then why don't you tell him you don't want you showing this? And she kind of, her response was like, I shouldn't have to. Like, it's kind of like an unspoken code between celebrities that, like, and
Mhm.
also she's like, it's just a weird thing to ask.
Okay, so
Um,
I could see that just she just has stricter boundaries and she doesn't like to be disrespected and like um yeah,
yeah, I think
this is
it's
just so
more,
weird.
I know, I think it's more the principled thing. And it's also weird
Mhm.
because it's between a 26-year-old and a 17-year-old. To me, that's strange. But
Yeah.
essentially, the internet has just came back at her with so much like hate. And so her response is to be classic Doja Cat and not care and be like, it's so funny how you guys are like unironically reacting to this so angry and how like mad you all can get about stuff. And she changed her Twitter handle to I'm better than you after that. So just classic
Very
Doja Cat
classic.
response. But what I just wanted to like kind of wrap it up and like a takeaway from all this is it's to me it's funny how powerful the internet and like whatever the majority opinion is can drastically shift any situation that might have gone a different way. So like to kind of explain, if this was, I don't know, like if this was on a smaller scale and it wasn't celebrities and somebody posted private messages between themselves and another person and it wasn't necessarily something that the other person wanted shared, I think everybody would be pretty sympathetic. Like, that was private. I don't think people should be sharing private messages on social media for everyone to see, especially without the other person's permission. And I think that would have been pretty understandable, but it's just funny to me how powerful, because Noah Schnapp is so loved and Stranger Things is trending right now. So he's even, more loved and more famous right now. And I think I saw this one TikTok that said, I really think Doja Cat underestimated how much the internet loves Noah Schnapp. Because
Mm.
even though he posted private messages between him and Doja and like kind of made fun of her a little bit, like she's the one getting so much hate for her response to it. And I just think it's funny because she technically has a right to be upset and she's getting no recognition of her of her anger at all, which is just interesting to me. It's crazy the power that internet reputation has in everyday situations.
Oh yeah, and public figures, celebrities are held to such a higher standard that
Yeah.
it is, I agree with you, the big take with your big takeaway to apply a lot of these dramas to our own lives. It's pretty crazy to think about. But Joseph Quinn, he is handsome. So he has a uniqueness about him. So I see what she's talking about, if
Maybe it's
that adds
because in the
anything.
show, like when you see him in the show, I'm not a fan. I will say he's much more attractive, like
Well, that would
off
change
camera.
everything.
Yeah, in the show, he's got like this 70s long, like wavy giant hair. I'm
Hmm.
not about it in the show, but more power to her. I see.
Yeah, when you
British.
already when you're introduced to someone in their role that has a huge influence, like this is not a spoiler, but Christian Bale played Batman in the Batman trilogy,
Mhm,
DC, and then he played the bad guy in the new Thor Love and Thunder Marvel movie.
mhm, mhm.
So obviously interesting because the crossover of characters and especially such a prominent character. But you see him, and again, not spoiling anything, just knowing that it's Christian Bale, and he's playing the bad guy, which everyone already knows through the comics who that bad guy is. Like you love him just because it's him. And
Yeah.
you can see him in a different light. Whereas if I was introduced to Christian Bale through this role in the Thor Love and Thunder movie, I would be like, ugh, like he's a weirdo.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't have loved Batman as much as you did.
Yeah, if they came in, well, yeah, I don't know. So interesting that this drama I kept seeing on my feeds and I just had no idea what it was about. So very cool. We will transition to my hot topic now, also in the world of social media, but in a far different way. So we've talked about this, Sophie, in previous episodes. And what I want to focus on in our discussion is the social media part of this. And I'm prefacing it like this because it's an important and topic that can be discussed at length with far more educated people. But you and I know social media just as much as anyone. And I say that in a general sense because we've only existed in this world with social media. You know, Facebook was around when, as long as I can remember. I know we were still in that age range that it didn't exist at one point while we were alive, but when we started using social media was about as early as we could have, depending on your household. Anyways, so in New York, there was a new law passed that now requires you, if you want to buy a gun, it requires you to show your social media history from the past 3 years. So under this new law, applicants will have to provide local officials with a list of current and former social media accounts from the previous 3 years. And the law itself doesn't specify if there should be access granted to private accounts. And the reason I make mention of that fact is because some of the complications with this law that professors, people have been asked about what they see as problematic in general is that it's a very vague law. And with that, the responsibility lies in the hands of local sheriff staffs, judges, or county clerks to scroll through these profiles as they check whether the applicants have made statements suggesting dangerous behavior. And now, as I mentioned before, with the data, increasingly young men have gone to online to drop hints of what's to come before executing a mass killing, and that's kind of targeting that one consistent data point found and mitigate who has the right to carry a gun. And to my knowledge, constitutionally, this raises some questions. Is it, free speech? Is what else did I read? The one big question was the reason the Supreme Court has left it up to the states to decide how they're going to go about gun control or a lack thereof is because they never want to get to a point to where they are controlling who has the right to carry. And this then is a way that is changing. And, whenever change happens, it's very hard to adjust to that. I guess we could start here. The simple fact of leaning on social media to be an identifier of who should and should not be able to buy a gun comes with many challenges, especially with who would be responsible for it. So the local sheriffs, the judges, the county clerks, they're not going to have prior training. They're not going to be the individuals in the community that are analyzing and researching and studying how to find this stuff online.
Yeah, I was actually jotting down thoughts as you were explaining this new law, and I've come up with 5 questions / concerns already, just from you, like, just
Yeah,
from your
I struggled getting through it because I want to properly portray it without any, just the facts of what was presented in the AP article that I read. But obviously I
Yeah,
don't want to
so
read a huge article.
I
So I want
mean,
to sum it up.
a couple things that come up is, first of all, how are how are people going to, there's like 5 things. Like, how are people going to verify that whatever accounts that they're, because people look
Hmm.
different on social media. Like, you can, if they can find someone that kind of looks like them, how are they going to verify that that person is truly the owner of this social media account? Especially with, I mean, my account was hacked. Like, you never know.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many different ways to like hack an account, change the email address on it. Like,
And
how are you
that's
going to
something
verify?
we've seen significantly. I mean, I don't even remember I know it says 3 years, but think of all the different generations. You make an account. Are you keeping track of that? And that I like that you say that because I think, okay, all of these concerns that came to my mind of, okay, how is this going to be verified, as you said, but maybe that is a narrative that needs to change. We need to have more responsibility for our social media accounts that doesn't particularly exist now in terms of how many accounts are making. But you mentioned there's so many
Yeah.
possibilities, like your account
Yeah.
getting hacked, that it's like even if you are responsible, there's still so many extenuating circumstances.
Exactly. So there's like the issue of like verifying if that's even their original account, the issue of people just creating multiple accounts. Like, one account is, looks great and super, PC and like normal and just not creepy at all. And then they have a different one that is super creepy. How would they ever know that that other creepy account
Mm-hmm.
exists?
And I thought about
And
that because I know through your what is it called, your AP address, not AP, um
IP?
IP address.
Mhm.
I didn't know if I would read further and see how they can tap into that, but no, there's
Yeah.
really no structure to it.
Oh,
So you
great.
can present the information you want to present.
Exactly. And then, you can, I feel like they would never know if you deleted posts,
Mhm.
like nobody, I don't know how, if they maybe got in contact with Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, maybe they could pull up those records, but I highly doubt for every single case that comes in, they're going to be doing that.
Mhm.
Fourthly, there's just so much content on one person's account that whoever is going through it should really be a social media expert and understand like what to look for, how to navigate the profiles, how to read through all the content efficiently. There's just so much content on one profile alone, and that's, they're going to have to be doing it hundreds and thousands of times over.
I mean, I
Um,
have 20,000 plus tweets.
exactly. And so, like, what is one person going to be going through and like reading every single tweet? Like, that doesn't seem sustainable. And
And
I mean,
yeah.
the last thing I'm going to say about it too is, social media is notorious for people acting one way and presenting one image, and really inside internally, it's a completely different story. So, I, while I see the intention behind this law, there are so many things and nuances that go into social media that make it kind of impossible to enforce or to help anyone in the long run. Um, I don't know. I get it, but I also don't get it because there's so much more that needs to go into it.
One of the experts talked to in this article said New York should instead consider giving the job to a trained group tasked with figuring out how to best reach out to people online who are showing signs of radicalization or trauma and may need help. And this is not even to mention on social media, there's going to be different views expressed. Is that also going to be, where's the perfectly written outline of what is considered to
Mhm.
be problematic and what
Yeah,
isn't? Because
that's true.
you're not going to agree maybe with some of the things you see, is that are these local officials in New York going to be able to separate from their views and just go by the book of what is technically problematic? So
Yeah.
I think as two people that are young and have just seen all of what social media has to offer, all of the questions that arose are what I thought would arise. I mean, it's not simple when you're talking about, oh, let's just look at their social media accounts. Do I appreciate the efforts of this is something that we have seen consistently? How can we put that into consideration when people are trying to buy guns? And you also have to consider, I mean, there's people that see their gun rights, of course, as a form of protection to themselves, and it's just such a learning curve and a change for people that have existed one way to have to abide by a new way of going about something they've probably done a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
In circles.
And it's interesting to see how maybe it will affect like the older generation. Like I could imagine.
Spilled my coffee. When you said the older generations, that's kind of what I was implying, like people that are used to doing something a certain way that aren't maybe technically
Mary's just getting so ramped up. She knocked over her coffee.
No, this conversation is just so stressful to have. To be, completely to express my thoughts in the way that I mean them. Oops, I did not mean to upgrade. What am I doing? Sorry. I'm falling apart.
Mary's short-circuiting right now.
I'm falling apart. Okay, well, the point of that is, wow, social media is very complex, and it's not that simple.
No, it's not. And that is, as you said, the intention is great. But can you just imagine also though, like my grandfather, he's, I'm sure if he ever went in and was like, oh, I want to buy a gun, and they're like, let me see your social media, he'd be like, it doesn't, I feel like it doesn't apply. Like that generation, that was never an issue. They never had people, because it didn't exist. And even now, I don't think they would have people going online and, ranting about what potential shooters rant about in our generation. It's a phenomenon, I think, of our generation specifically, unfortunately. And
that's true. And I think a lot of arguments that I saw would be privacy issues. Like this is a privacy that I want to be respected. But maybe it's just interesting because it makes me think, can you hear the fire truck in the background or the sirens? Apologies, everyone.
Yeah,
it's not you, it's me. It's over here on my end. So when I originally read the article, the thing that came to mind was privacy. Should we, and I'm not an expert, but should we have that same respect for privacy on social media? Social media is, when you look at life, it's a very recent phenomenon. Should we, on a public platform, be granted those same privacy rights? Because as if someone were to walk into your home and check out your home and dictate whether you should have a gun or not. Like, it is a public platform. It is regulated by, these big corporations. We're not really regulated, but it is a product of. So should we have that mindset? Of course, we're expressing ourselves on these platforms, but it is public. And should that be up for discussion of how you present yourself on social media? It's just things that we haven't had to address, that it's like, should social media follow the same rules as what you're saying in the own walls of your home or out of your own mouth? Like it's just different.
I think maybe it's a good first try. It's like, okay, we're moving in the right direction of
Mm-hmm.
regulating this new platform that we haven't really had around for more than 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good first try. It has good first intentions, but there's a lot of work. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work that needs to be done to actually, because right now, to be honest, I don't think that'll be effective at all. I think it's too complicated and too nuanced and too little like plans in place to actually execute it for it to be effective.
Yeah,
Um,
simply vague in how these officials are supposed to go about, making this consistent for everyone. But
yeah.
hey, a lot of them have been, a lot of the examples in recent cases have been very obvious. So, and then
Yeah.
also, okay, once you do see, oh, this person has some volatile stuff on their social medias, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
So again,
Mhm.
like you said, I think it it makes everyone think maybe it wasn't ready, maybe it, with all of the question marks surrounding the concerns, um maybe everyone will figure it out together, and
Mhm.
that'll help shape the law itself. I don't know.
Yeah, the
Well,
conversation has been opened, which is good.
well, all I did in that was show that I can't speak and that I'm a complete klutz because I'm coffee's everywhere and I'm just a little rattled. So I think that's the
That's
perfect way to end the episode.
covered in coffee
Covered in coffee. I wonder if I
and
could show it
rattled.
without.
Oh no. That's, you know what though, it's classic Mary. We'll have to tell the story of the spill another time.
It's just so crazy that you make mention of me being a klutz because I have this format in my head, not even format. I have all of these bullet points that I want to express in my maid of
Mhm.
honor speech that I've texted you about, Sophie.
Oh,
And one of them is like, you know, we have these stories that are like, will they ever not be too soon to share at your family?
my mom
So,
would be like, what?
but is it one of those things where, okay, at this point we're so far removed, and I'm not going to share them yet to our listeners, and I know this is probably confusing, but there have been these moments that have happened that have been like, we just can't talk about it because they're just that horrible. At your wedding, are they going to be okay to be talked about, or do I have to be like, even now it's too soon?
It's too soon 10 years later. It's too soon.
I don't know.
Maybe. You know what? I know what moment you're talking about. And by then it might be okay.
Moments
Yeah.
too.
I'll have to moments, that's true. Two moments. But by then it might be good. And also
Okay.
it would make me laugh so hard. So
Oh, that would be the funniest thing if I can reveal that. To see the reactions, I would need like a camera
oh
on.
my God. She would like
Yeah.
make you walk in our house from this point on in like a hazmat suit if
I
you
don't think I'll ever be welcomed back. So,
Oh,
anywho, man, yeah, hopefully. Okay, so that's, I was thinking of that. Would that be something? Only time will tell. All right. So what a disaster. And maybe you guys are feeling great. I just feel like a total mess. So that's the end of the Processing Podcast with Mary and Sophie. Thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great rest of your week.
See you guys in 2 weeks.